So I wanted to talk a little bit about VoIP and MOIP, right? So voice over IP, money over IP. Many of you know I usually don't talk about VoIP for whatever reason, but I would definitely wanted to share with you the work that I've done. So basically, for about 10 years, I was traveling all over the world, right? Meeting with phone companies, meeting with different entrepreneurs to convince people that voice over IP is the future and that all of telephony is going to migrate from a system that existed for 100 years into something completely new called the internet. And actually, I got booted out of a bunch of conferences. I remember conferences in 95 and 96 where the big phone companies were the dominant sponsors, where they actually removed me from the conference. I was speaker and they didn't like what I said, and they basically said, look, you're not welcome here, even though we invited you as a speaker. So the path for voice over IP was not easy. It wasn't like, oh, everybody was like, just, oh, let me download it on my app, on my phone. You know, that's not how it started, right? And the phone companies did everything they could to block us from being successful, because they knew that all of their livelihood, all of the revenues are going to disappear if we're going to go from that $2 a minute to free, right? This is VoIP and we're using it for free, right? So I put together basically all the places that I visited. Obviously, it's not all of them, but it's a chunk of them. And I put it on Slack, and it actually posted some time ago on my YouTube. On my YouTube, I posted it on my Twitter, and you can see here events going back. Sorry for this. Obviously, it's been in storage for a while, but you can see here events going back to 93, 94, 1994, right? 1993. So this is what it takes. This is just one. I mean, there's several of these, right? But this is what it takes to get something like voice over IP going. And MOIP, or money over IP, takes much more, right? So before COVID, before we had, I see there's a little glare there, but let me try to maybe, here, I'll put it here, maybe. Here we go. How about that? So before COVID, I presented in 200 conferences, 200 different conferences. You see all the different places here, going back all the way to 2016 and 17. Here's me and my wife traveling on a motorcycle. And these are all the accolades and all the things we got, you know, speaker, conference attendee, blah, 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 right? But that's what it takes, you know, carpe diem. You see on the bottom? So that's what it takes. Hopefully I won't break these TVs. To bring, right, to unbank yourself and migrate from the traditional banking system to the new world of finance. And what at stake here is much more than what was at stake with the phone companies. If you think about the battle with the phone companies, which I won several times, right? Putting wireless in the subway in New York, definitely, believe me, none of the phone companies wanted me to do that. It was like gym membership. Finally, people got to be underground and not have service, meaning the phone companies they still charge you that monthly fee, but they didn't give you anything in return. You were underground. You didn't have any reception. So winning against the phone companies was really almost like a practice run, compared to going at it for the banks. Why? Because the banks control all the money in the world. We talk about all the money in the world. How hard do you think they're going to fight to make sure that they keep the profit instead of giving the profits back to you, right? So hundreds and hundreds of events, of conferences, not just me, also obviously many of the Celsians, the team members, my co-founder, everybody, right? Working, traveling all over the world, presenting, educating people, explaining to people that it's even possible. Even today, I mean, most people I meet who come from traditional finance or from traditional life think that this is a crazy idea, that this will never happen. Neither the government nor the banks will allow any of this to happen. So, and the truth is that, again, right? This is about the people. It's about what giving the power back to the people. Voice of IP is taking the power away from the phone companies and giving it back to the people using the internet, right? And money over IP, or MOIP, right, is taking the power from the banks by not depositing money there, by basically convincing more and more people to not deposit money over there. We don't have to bring down the banks. If we just stop depositing money there, we are sucking the power away from them, because the only reason they have power is because we give them money for free. We don't ask anything back. And giving it to someone who's acting in your best interest, empowering the people who are acting in your best interest, and taking power away from the people who are not acting in your best interest. So that was kind of my quick VoIP to MOIP visualization, right? Visceral view for you guys to see what it takes, right? So this is not something we just started a few months ago, or you know, we got lucky and we got all these billions of dollars in deposits. We've been working at this for several years with exactly the same mission. Nothing has changed, right? Everything I've been saying to you, I've been saying in 2015 and 16 and 17 before everybody knew what Celsius is.